Hey guys, tonight we will journey together through the mist of the Tudor era, quietly stepping along stone corridors where candlelight flickers in harmony with the wind whispering through pine boughs outside the window. You won't survive it. But don't worry, that's just a gentle tease before we drift into a soothing dream. Before you lie, 4 Tudor mysteries, deaths shrouded in power and ambition, but tonight we'll tell them in a hushed, calming tone, like the gentle lap of waves upon a silent shore, like the mist curling around an ancient castle. Let the night breeze carry the scent of fir and jasmine into the space. Let the sliver of moon peek over the rooftops, casting a silver glow upon a time-worn fortress. In that muted light, the shadow of its watchtower stretches across marble floors, brushing against the mossy gravel walkways. The only sounds you hear are the soft crackle of a candle's flame and the slow rhythm of your own breath. This evening, we're not chasing dramatic thrills, but painting a serene symphony of history, Tudor spirits whispering in your ear, reminding you that power can be cruel, yet memories, like the wind, never cease to linger. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And don't forget to comment where you're listening from and what time it is in your local time zone. I can't wait to hear voices from around the globe. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Breathe in deeply, breathe out slowly. In the distance before you, beneath the pale moonlight tilting upon the moss-covered rooftops, the silhouette of an ancient castle emerges like a muted halo amid the stillness. Weathered grey stones, etched with time, cradle each moss-laced brick. Below, a rusty wooden gate creaks faintly whenever the night breeze drifts through it. Each gentle gust carries the scent of withered leaves and a trace of old roses. Within the gravel courtyard, fallen autumn leaves swirl softly before settling into the murky puddles left by the night fog. The rustling leaves mingle with the steady beat of your heart. Thump, thump, thump. Each pulse a lullaby, guiding you into a distant memory. This castle once echoed with the clip-clop of horses and the bright lanterns of midnight revelry. Now, only shadows remain and the old clock's measured ticking. Tick-tock, tick-tock. It feels as if the world has hushed itself, leaving only the faint echo of dreams. Inside a private chamber, crimson velvet drapes are drawn aside, just enough to let the moon's silver milk pour in. On a small round table, an oil lamp flickers, tendrils of pale smoke spiraling up as if whispering, "Enter." And here steps our main character onto the scene. Before you stands Isabella, the January bride and heir of the misty realm. She wears a cloak of soft, ash-coloured fur, silver clasps inlaid with moonstones glinting beneath the lantern's glow. Her platinum hair cascades over her shoulders, brushing the velvet pillow beneath her. Her lapis lazuli eyes reflect an ocean of longing and quiet sorrow. Inhale, exhale. Once, Isabella rode her steed through valleys blossoming with 1,000 flowers, listening to the mountain stream's gentle murmur and birdsong. Yet after that storm-lashed night, she returned bearing a quest to uncover the 4 Tudor mysteries. Each secret a shard of power and devotion, buried beneath seas of fog and tempest. Now, her footsteps grace the ancient embroidered rug, each motif a chronicle of bygone lives. Isabella's hand reaches for the heavy wooden door, fingertips tracing the grain's rugged texture. Creak, clack. The door swings open to reveal a hallway paved in burnished blue and gold stones, as though time itself flows between each step. Isabella, the silent snow princess, becomes our guide through dim corridors, hidden alcoves, and ivy-draped balconies. She moves with feather-light grace, pausing to gaze upon carved reliefs depicting distant echoes of Edward reading by a threshold, Mary's innocent laughter in a pristine smock, Amy leaning by a windswept window. Thump, thump. Your heartbeat falls in time with hers. Outside, the wind sighs through window slits, carrying notes of bay and melting frost. Whoosh, whoosh. All slows to a dreamlike haze. In the shadowed archway, Isabella pauses before a weather-worn wall. Upon it hangs an old brass key, dull green from years gone by. She lifts the key, moonlight dancing across its surface. Her hand trembles not with cold, but with the weight of destiny. The hidden door swings open to a secret library. Countless leather-bound tomes line the shelves, spines worn, pages yellowed with age. The scent of ink and aged parchment weaves through the air, heavy yet comforting. Isabella retrieves a single volume, placing it gently on the rough-hewn wooden desk. Outside, the wind whistles like a distant flute. Inhale, exhale. Candlelight flutters across the page as she turns it. On a misty night, a slight smile curves her lips as she discovers the first clue. You, the listener, feel your own breath settle into a gentler rhythm. Every word drips like warm honey, slipping into your ear to lull your mind. Isabella leans close, whispering, "Come with me," and turns the page again, inviting you into the tales of Edward, Mary, Amy, and the lost play of the bard. Thump, thump. Two soft sighs escape your lips, each a gentle reminder that the night is young and the dream has only just begun. The wind stirs the drapes, the heart beats on, the breath flows steady. Each silent pause a lullaby, guiding you deeper into the Tudor reverie, where darkness offers comfort rather than fear, and every secret awaits in tranquil slumber. A gentle chill of autumn breeze slides through the window's cracks, rustling the leaves as if whispering secrets. The moon, in its 16th of December phase, casts slender beams through the pine boughs, painting pale streaks across the cold stone walls. Outside the castle, the deserted field stretches under a veil of mist, with clusters of wild purple flowers dimly peeking through the dew. Inside the smoky library, Isabella releases her grip on the ancient tome and closes her eyes, attuning to each suspended moment. Her heartbeat drifts in tandem with yours. Breathe in, breathe out. Time itself seems to pause, leaving only the hushed echoes of history. Within this dreamy silence, the tale of the 15-year-old king unfolds softly. Edward, the young prince once celebrated with peals of church bells, now lies beneath a feather mattress, his skin as pale as frosted glass. Official chronicles attribute his cough to ordinary maladies, smallpox or pneumonia, but the whispered rumours hint at a slow-acting poison, akin to acid rain gradually corroding the iron gate. The candle's yellow glow weakens like the last breath of a fading dream, flickering on the wall. Isabella turns to the faded ink on the page. Modern scholars propose that Edward fell victim to a counterfeit remedy, while others blame the era's medical ignorance. She lets out a soft chuckle, a gentle tease echoing through time. Ah, we gripe about unstable Wi-Fi or draining batteries, but compared to a boy shedding clumps of hair day after day, our complaints seem quite tiny. A deeper gust stirs the night air, inhaling like a distant cathedral bell toll. In the half-light, Isabella closes her eyes, picturing young Edward under his quilt, watching the candle dance. She draws a parallel to today, children glued to tablets, parents sighing over software updates. Yet in that age, no technology could cure the subtle poison coursing through his veins. Above, dewdrops shatter upon the rooftop. Isabella's hand grazes the book's spine, imagining the silent footfalls of palace attendants carrying bowls of herbal broth. The mingling scent of medicinal herbs and aged parchment creates an aroma you can't hear but feel against your skin. All numerals are spelled out. Edward was 15, a young soul brimming with hope, yet slipping quietly into oblivion. Isabella reads on. Just a few drops of mercury or arsenic can reduce a future monarch to ash, extinguishing hope in its flames. She gazes at the overcast sky, where clouds drift in seasonal rotations. The scene mirrors tragedy yet retains tranquility, for there are no screams here, only rhythmic breathing like waves lapping a silent shore. A small fan hums in the corner, its gentle buzz forming a lullaby. Isabella releases each line into the space. Today we practice yoga to detoxify, drink green juices to cleanse. Edward had no such choices. A long, tender pause envelops you like a willow branch skimming a still river. Then you notice the soft sounds, the turning of ancient pages and Isabella's breath, so much like the wind through a forest of pines. Each moment stretches, a vision of misty woods under moonlight, light filtering through leaves, dew droplets gleaming like crystals. The next pages recount Edward's coronation at dawn's trumpet call. Isabella studies the lines with reverent eyes, as though immersed in an ancient dream. She inhales deeply, feeling the forest's whisper. Who could guess that 60 years hence he would rest in a cold vault, his crown tarnished but his story eternal? A gentle barb floats through the air. If you think job stress is heavy, try wearing a crown. Isabella tilts her lips into a smirk, then shifts, her silk cloak rustling like calm ocean waves. You shiver ever so slightly, yet sense the peaceful hush. Power is not always ruthless, and memories need not shock, but can soothe. Once more, a breeze drifts through the window, carrying the chorus of nocturnal insects and the faint scent of pine resin. Isabella places the book on the desk and lays her hand over your heart, offering steady reassurance. Our tale is long, but tonight, let our hearts rest amid history's soft whispers. And as you listen to your own steady heartbeat, you drift deeper into a Tudor slumber, where sorrow too becomes a lullaby. A cool morning breath threaded through the window's split, like mischievous fingers brushing the velvet drapes. Dawn's first light filtered through the mist, casting pale rose-gold streaks across the weathered stones, turning the castle courtyard into a fairy tale tableau. The heavy wooden door remained ajar, just enough to let the wind murmur down the long corridor, carrying hints of jasmine and damp oak. Amy Robsart awoke in her candlelit chamber, the aroma of beeswax mingling with a faint vanilla scent that clung to the walls and drifted into her breath. She slowly stretched her arms, her silk gown brushing against a velvet-topped table where a vase of white chrysanthemums still held dew from the night. Her heartbeat eased into a slow rhythm. Breathe in, breathe out, as if guided by a hidden lullaby from the forest outside. That day felt ordinary, like filing paperwork in a quiet office, but Amy sensed a subtle shift in the air. The dawn chorus of blackbirds rose from the nearby grove, while butterflies fluttered languidly over neatly trimmed rose bushes. Morning light streamed through the arched window, painting honey-flavoured pools on the dark wooden floor. She smiled softly, imagining today's world of blinking notifications, those little reminders of Zoom calls or unread emails. Amy had no gadgets to fear losing power at 60%, yet she understood the same fragile waiting. She lifted her foot, stepping across the richly woven rug. Her heels tapped a gentle drumbeat that echoed in the stillness. A gentle knock sounded on the door. "My lady, breakfast is served below," whispered her chambermaid. The chandelier's flame flickered, casting Amy's elongated shadow against the wall like spectral wings. She nodded and glided down the curved staircase. Each step hovered like a ripple over a calm lake, barely disturbing the cold stone beneath. The stairway was modest, only 8 carved steps, hardly formidable to one accustomed to palace life. Yet Amy paused on one tread, inhaling deeply. Her breath sounded like a soft breeze. Whoosh, whoosh. It seemed she glimpsed a fleeting vision of solitude, a dimly lit vault far below, where secrets lie in shadow. A tingle of apprehension kissed her spine. She laughed at herself. Perhaps I drank too much peppermint tea. Then she continued down. The rustle of silk on stone felt like waves lapping a tranquil shore. The morning light caught the turquoise pendant at her throat, setting it aglow like a distant star. At the foot of the stairs, warm lamplight poured from the dining hall, embracing her like a gentle hug. The hushed clatter of servants, the whispered scrape of cutlery, filled the room with life. Yet Amy felt a silent question echo in her mind. Why has the castle this morning no bell to call us? The only sound she truly heard was her own muffled breath, like a wave brushing the sand. 1, 2, 3 breaths settled her mind. Amy sat and scooped a spoonful of porridge. The creamy oats mixed with a honeyed sweetness. She closed her eyes in pure enjoyment, then thought with a playful grin, "If I had social media, I'd post this breakfast with the caption, 'No Wi-Fi, still gourmet.'" But she was greeted only by her chambermaid's warm nod and the chef's kindly smile. The door closed softly behind her, leaving Amy in a cocoon of subtle sounds. the wood's faint creak as it adjusted to the morning chill, the faint hiss of candle wax, and the distant sigh of wind through the arched window. All the while, history continued its silent march. A century hence, Amy Robsart's tale would be recorded in formal chronicles, accident or intrigue, the question debated by scholars. Yet here and now, in this hushed dawn, she was merely a fleeting figure bathed in soft light, walking among unanswered questions. Inhale, exhale. Your heartbeat echoes its gentle reassurance, as if comforting the entire mist-shrouded fortress. You sense the single dewdrop clinging to a chrysanthemum petal, a moment of crystalline purity in a realm of mysteries. Amy rose and stepped toward the window, welcoming the fresh breeze. She lifted her hand to catch the mist, tiny pearls clinging to her fingertips. In her eyes glimmered a quiet resolve to continue her search for truth and justice, even if it flickered only briefly in the night. Her breath melded with the wind, the castle's gentle lullaby guiding you deeper into a peaceful Tudor dream. A soft spring breeze drifted through the wooden window frame, carrying the scent of dew-kissed dandelions. Dawn's first blush shimmered through the willow branches, casting a delicate aquamarine hue upon the mossy courtyard stones. Mary Seymour, the rosy-cheeked child once gazing at the world with wide-eyed wonder, had vanished silently into the hush of the castle. In the small tiled chamber, a mother-of-pearl cradle stood gleaming, its gauzy white canopy still swaying to the wind's breath. Your heart beat in a steady lullaby. Breathe in, breathe out. Each exhalation guiding you deeper into this memory. No infant's cries echoed here, only the weight of a profound stillness. On that year of 1548, Mary arrived amid Catherine Parr's tender embrace. Sudeley Castle rang with trumpets of celebration, while incense smoke curled from the chapel next door. Courtiers and maidens glided across marble floors in silk gowns, the echoes of laughter trailing behind. Yet, under a week later, eyes turned to the annual stipend for the child's upkeep. Money once a promise became a burden, and in that quiet storm of accounts, Mary slipped from the ledgers as if she were a broken line of text no longer noticed. Today, the castle's archives still hold the stipend register. Though its ink has faded, one can discern the figures laid down. 500 crowns per annum, increased once immediately after Catherine Parr's passing. 3 revisions, a final seal, yet there is no death certificate, no burial record, no note that marks her final gasp. Imagine a child growing up in the 21st century, with no Instagram photos, no text threads, no digital footprints, just a fleeting presence on the vast web. Mary, in that age, would have been an anonymous username, easily deleted like spam comments nobody reads. In the 16th century, she was truly expunged from the page, her life erased from the record. The candle's amber flame waned, flickering like morning eyes. Wax dripped with a soft drip, drop, mirroring the night's slow breath. Where was Mary? Perhaps she played hide-and-seek among the stars, or remained forever silent in an endless lullaby. In the castle's rear garden, wild violets bloomed, petals drifting onto the pebbled walk. The rustle of sparrows mixed with cicadas' serenade, a dreamlike symphony that lasted for hours. Among these notes, guards reported glimpses of Mary's spirit, gliding through the morning mist, her silhouette a whisper across the frosted grass. The scent of damp earth and pine resin wafted through each step you took along the overgrown path. Inhale, exhale. You felt yourself blending into the mist, absorbing the essence of time. Mary had vanished, yet the memory of her small voice lingered in every stone crevice, every crease of fabric. A modern-day bulletin might read, "Another child missing without a trace on social media." Parents share pleas and hashtags, but messages drift away into the feed's endless scroll. Technology preserves images, yet memories fade in torrents of information. Mary, in her parchment and wax world, faced the same silent erasure. A sudden gust rattled the hallway, like the castle itself sighing in the dark. Lanterns flickered, adding to the ethereal glow. You sensed your heartbeat merge with emptiness. Pum, pum, like a distant tide brushing the shore. Mary Seymour, a name suspended between fading records, beckoned you to follow her scattered clues. A quiet thought teased you. If we gripe about no Wi-Fi, at least Mary never had to worry about tweeting the perfect post or fearing snarky comments. The moon, in its 16th of December phase, swelled slowly overhead, illuminating the stone floor in a silvery path. Another day closed, yet the mystery of Mary's fate remained. Breathe in, breathe out. Each breath was weighted yet soothing. In this Tudor reverie, childhood might never conclude, but longing to be remembered lingered. As you close your eyes, let Mary's story cradle you in its final lullaby, gentle among the midnight mist. A gentle spring breeze curled through the wooden-framed window, carrying the scent of dew-laden dandelion blossoms. Dawn's soft pink light shimmered through the thin clouds, tinting the mossy courtyard stones with a delicate aquamarine hue. Mary Seymour, the rosy-cheeked child who once viewed the world with curious eyes, seemed to vanish into the silent hush of the castle. Inside the small tiled chamber, a mother-of-pearl cradle stood gleaming, its sheer white canopy still drifting with the wind's breath. Your heartbeat accompanied a calming lullaby. Breathe in, breathe out. Each breath guiding you deeper into this shared memory. No infant's cry pierced the air, only a serene stillness filled the room. That year of 1548, Mary was born into Catherine Parr's loving embrace. Trumpets celebrated her arrival across Sudeley Castle, while incense smoke spiraled from the chapel next door. Courtiers and maidens glided across marble floors in silken gowns, laughter echoing softly. Yet less than a week later, attention turned to the stipend for the child's care. Money once promised became a burden, and in that quiet accounting storm, Mary disappeared from the records like a broken line of text, never again noticed. Today, the castle's archive holds the faded stipend register. Though most of its ink has worn away, one can still make out the figures. 500 crowns per annum, increased once immediately after Catherine Parr's passing. 3 ledger revisions, a final seal yet absent are any death certificates, burial entries, or notes marking her final breath. Imagine a child in the 21st century with no Instagram photos, no texts, no digital footprints, just a fleeting presence in the vast internet sea. Mary, in her age of parchment and wax, faced a similar erasure. Removed entirely from the page, her existence folded into silence. The pale candle flame flickered, echoing dimly like morning eyes. Wax dripped softly. Drip. Drop. In time with the night's slow breath. Where had Mary gone? Perhaps she wandered among the stars or remained forever still in an endless lullaby. In the castle's rear garden, wild violet blossoms drifted onto the pebbled path. The rustle of sparrows blended with cicadas' lullaby, a dreamlike symphony. Guards reported sightings of Mary's spirit gliding through the mist, her pale figure flickering across the dew-laden grass. The scent of damp earth and pine resin accompanied every step you took along the overgrown path. Inhale, exhale. You felt yourself merge with the mist, absorbing the essence of time. Though Mary was gone, her memory lingered in every stone crevice, every fold of gauzy canopy. A modern-day headline might read, "Another child missing without a trace on social media." Parents share pleas and hashtags, but messages fade into the endless scroll. Technology preserves images, yet memories blur in torrents of data. Mary, in her world of ink and paper, faced the same silent erasure. A sudden gust rattled the hallway, like the castle itself sighed in the dark. Lanterns trembled, adding to the ethereal glow. You sensed your heartbeat align with emptiness. Pum, pum, like a distant tide brushing the shore. Mary Seymour, a name suspended between fading records, invited you to follow her scattered clues. A quiet thought teased you. If we gripe about no Wi-Fi, at least Mary never had to tweet the perfect post or fear snarky comments. The moon in its 16th of December phase swelled overhead, illuminating the stone floor in a silver path. Another day closed, yet the mystery of Mary's fate remained unanswered. Breathe in, breathe out. Each breath carried weight yet comfort. In this Tudor reverie, childhood never truly ends, and the longing to be remembered endures. As you close your eyes, Let Mary's story cradle you in its final lullaby, gentle among the midnight mist. A gentle spring breeze drifted through the tall, arched window, carrying the scent of dew-kissed dandelions. Dawn's early light, tinged with soft peach, filtered through willow branches, casting an aquamarine glow upon the mossy courtyard stones. Over those very stones, on an autumn afternoon of '56, Amy Robsart took her final steps and slipped into legend. Awakening with a longing for peaceful simplicity, Amy savoured the soft rustle of falling leaves, the wildflower scent drifting in the air, and distant children's laughter carried by the breeze. She sipped herbal mint tea, its cooling essence dancing on her tongue, and smiled at the warmth of a knitted shawl gifted by her mother. The church bells tolled quietly below the valley, marking the world's gentle transition from night to dawn. Yet, when the time came, Amy insisted her household take a day's respite at the village fair, warm apple pastries, folk games, and bright fanfare. No live streams interrupted the moment, no group chats reminded them to bring jackets, only the wooden door swinging softly in the wind and the echo of wooden soles tapping the earth. Before stepping away, Amy whispered her farewell. "Enjoy the fair. I will join you at day's end." Her voice held the quiet assurance of falling willow leaves, free of suspicion. As her attendants departed, the once bustling hall fell silent. A single amber candle flickered in the grand window's frame, its glow painting elongated patterns upon the stone wall. Amy, alone, closed her eyes and drew in a slow, deep breath. Inhale, exhale. By the time the servants returned at dusk, their arms laden with pastry and spun sugar, Amy was nowhere to be found. Only a velvet armchair bore the imprint of her departure, and a half-burned candle stood sentinel on the low table, its drips of wax echoing a world paused mid-breath. "Something is amiss," one whispered, their pulse quickening. Thump, thump. A narrow door leading to the lower level creaked ajar, revealing a dim oil lamp's glow. The servants braced themselves, descending the cold stone steps worn smooth over decades. A silent draught traced along their necks, stirring the still air with a chilling hush. Whoosh, whoosh. At the staircase's bottom, they found her. Amy collapsed in mid-step, the fine velvet of her gown unwrinkled, her neck bent at a tremor of unnatural angle. No bruises marred her arms or hands, no signs of struggle, just the cruel geometry of a broken limb. Silence reigned, broken only by their laboured breaths and a distant sigh of wind. Truth can be colder than any blade. Official reports recorded that investigators found no evidence of illness, and Amy had no reason to descend the stairs alone. Court correspondence buried in the archives spoke of an accident that resembled one too many, while a margin note teased, if irony were a weapon, her velvet slippers dealt the fatal blow. In our own age, accident remains a convenient label. Headlines blare unexplained circumstance to evoke drama, yet rarely pause long enough to hear the silence's sigh. Breathe in, breathe out. The lone candle crackled, psst, psst, as though some parting breath of Amy lingered in the cavernous hall. Dawn's rosy hue had faded. Moonlight now filtered through dust, laden drapes, unveiling a scene of haunting serenity beauty found in solitude, a silent aria that trembled yet never broke. You feel your heartbeat slow. Thump, thump, and the wind's soft murmur. Let silence hold you. Amy has departed, but in this dream her spirit drifts along the ancient stair, beckoning you into ultimate calm. A thin veil of dawn mist drifted across the display case glass, its droplets catching the first light like scattered crystals. Inside the artifact gallery, overhead fixtures cast soft rays through each cabinet, reflecting upon the polished marble floor. Each case held a frozen moment, a small commemorative bell, a wooden casket engraved with floral filigree, and faded ink upon an aged parchment. In the hushed silence, the curator moved quietly between displays. She paused before the Tudor Mysteries exhibit. Leaning close, she regarded each relic. Edward's silver and gold rattle, Mary's ornate hand mirror, Amy's intact velvet gown, and finally the scrap inscribed with the missing play's title. Her footsteps whispered along the thick rug, breaths measured and even. Breathe in, breathe out. She pressed her palm against the cool glass case, eyes closed, as though feeling the warmth of centuries past. In that instant, those 83 vanished moments came alive. Edward grasping his rattle in wonder, Mary giggling among petals, Amy leaning by the railing as the autumn breeze tousled her hair, Shakespeare nodding in the globe's gloom upon hearing of the lost sequel. Consider modern data loss, laptop crashes, corrupt backups, accounts locked permanently. Are our woes any smaller than Edward's lost medical journals, Mary's missing records, Amy's unrecorded demise, and Shakespeare's vanished manuscript? Technology promises preservation, yet just one tap of delete can erase entire legacies. The lighting shifted from bright white to a softer amber, casting long pillars of shadow beneath the vaulted ceiling. The gentle hum of the climate control mingled with the scent of aged leather and polished oak, redolent of faded eras. Gently, she lifted the rattle from its cushion. The metal vibrated with a faint echo, just a whisper, but enough to still hearts. She murmured, "Each artifact is a heartbeat of history." Her gaze travelled to a wall mosaic of Shakespeare on stage, applauding crowds, yet the sequel never appearing. In faded crimson painted above, the words, "Shine after the night," lingered, an ambiguous promise both hopeful and mournful. Exhaling slowly, she switched off the main lights, letting only display lamps glow. The ventilation's soft rush became a lullaby. Whoosh, whoosh. The air breathed over the cases as if telling visitors to rest. Each relic lay quietly within its sanctuary, yet within the curator's mind, they danced with life's breath. She moved to the next display, a fragmentary list tucked inside an old binding, "Love's Labours Lost," sequel. She whispered, "Love that will not perish," and smiled wryly, better than a failed software update. It reminded her of countless beta versions abandoned and forgotten by their creators. As she replaced the list, dawnlight filtered through dusty blinds, sketching a silvery corridor. Mary's mirror caught a sliver of that glow, its reflective surface stirring memories of a child's brief laugh. Yet the mirror spoke no more, holding its secrets silently. Her steps slowed, each movement a soft lullaby. Let the memories rest. The artifacts lay undisturbed in their glass chambers, while the curator's heart pulsed with their stories. The gallery's gentle symphony continued. The slow rotation of ceiling blades, lamps blinking quietly, the ventilation's murmur, tick, tock, whoosh, a timeless rhythm leading one into reverie, where Tudor spirits slumber peacefully. At the final case, she found a small wooden box carved with delicate vines. Inside lay the thin parchment bearing the missing play's title. The air smelled faintly of cinnamon wood. Reverently, she lifted the document and read, "Sequel to Love's Labours Lost." The words felt like an unfulfilled vow, centuries old. She closed her eyes and inhaled deeply, drawing all those ancient impressions into her chest. Letting the breath out slowly, she placed the parchment back into its box. The room darkened further, moonlight seeping in through dusty drapes, illuminating a tableau of quiet grandeur. A fleeting thought made her grin. At least there's likely a backup server somewhere. Yet she knew even backups can vanish. In our cloud era, data disappears without trace, just as Shakespeare's first folio lost its second part, never to be found. She snapped the box shut. In that moment, silence reigned, save for her heartbeat. Thump, thump. A solemn drum guiding Tudor souls back into their eternal rest. And as you listen to that final pulse, let its calm wash over your mind, easing you into a peaceful sleep amid this sea of memories. Dawn mist drifted silently across the castle moat, turning the birch groves into shadowy impressions of a dream. Pause. Birds called sporadically through the forest, melding with the faint toll of the chapel bell, echoing through the stillness. This morning, the Tudor court held its rare bread-giving ceremony for the poor, an event scarcely recorded in the annals, yet meant to share the royal surplus with those in need. Pale morning light slipped through arched windows, painting the lime-washed walls in hues of soft pink and pale sapphire. Pause. Before the chapel, a long table set upon a stone dais was draped in ivory cloth and heaped with round, golden-brown loaves. The scent of fermenting dough and fresh grain wafted through the air. Beside it stood a wooden trough filled with carved wooden bowls, ready for recipients to gather their share. The scene felt warmly hushed. A row of candles glowed at the entrance, their flames dancing upon emerald-tinged moss. A breeze rustled through oak paneling, whispering, inviting you to breathe deeply, inhaling the mingled aromas of oak timber and newly harvested wheat. Each slow breath carried you deeper into a serene reverie. Pause. You heard soft footsteps across the polished stone floor. Nobles in fur-trimmed cloaks advanced in silence. Their cloaks were a tapestry of deep browns and muted reds, threaded with pale silver that glittered like sequins on a modern evening gown. A teasing thought surfaced. At least Tudor bread didn't need a delivery app, just patience in line. The ritual commenced as the White Lotus Queen stepped forward, cradling a velvet cushion bearing the first loaf. She bowed her head before the stone altar, murmuring a prayer of gratitude to earth and sky. Her words drifted like a gentle wind through the water. May this gift nourish every soul. Pause. Her voice spread through the assembly like a silent tide. Cradling the still warm loaf, the Queen placed it gently in the hands of a stooped woman. Hope glimmered in the recipient's eyes, a reminder of how generosity warms the human heart. Pause. The soft thud of bread meeting hand felt like a slow cello's resonance. One by one, the townspeople approached, bowing to king and queen before receiving their share. You watched hopeful faces lift toward the royal presence, like awaiting an email confirmation that somehow never arrived. You smiled quietly, then resumed your place in the slow-moving queue. Pause, whispers of, "Thank you." Your Majesty fluttered through the dawn, blending with the breeze. Each phrase shimmered like dewdrops on grass, warming everyone who heard. The tableau before you formed a living map of kindness, painted in lamplight and breath rather than pomp. After the last loaf was claimed, the Queen moved to serve warm ginger tea, its spiced steam swirling in the cool air. Flavoured with honey and ginger, it evoked today's cozy winter lattes at hip cafes. Pause. You inhaled its spicy warmth, feeling it kindle vitality in every breath. Down the corridor, oil lamps flickered on carved panelling, turning the walls honey gold. Nobles whispered among themselves of next season's yields and upcoming droughts. A seldom-known detail crossed your mind. The court planned to preserve grain using volcanic ash imported from a distant land, an early form of cold storage. You whispered to yourself, "Better than any medieval freezer." Pause. Outside, the woods seemed to respond with an owl's distant hoot, and the earth exhaled a damp, mossy perfume. You closed your eyes, letting these details weave into a seamless tapestry. Bread freely given, tea warming spirits, inventive grain preservation, and simple human breath. As the ceremony concluded, the royal procession withdrew into the inner court. You remained for a final moment, watching the last candle gutter in silence before shutting the heavy window. Moonlight and moat ripples mingled beyond. You drew a deep breath. The scents of bread, ginger tea, volcanic ash, and mossy stone filling your senses. Pause. You returned to your modest chamber, where a plain wooden table held an empty platter, its humble reminder of the morning's feast. A half-cold cup of tea rested nearby, a testament to shared warmth. You adjusted your pillow and lay down, your breath even and gentle as waves upon the shore. Pause. Breath, heartbeat, breeze, and water combined into a lullaby all their own. Your eyes drifted closed, carrying with them the quiet warmth of the bread-giving ceremony, spilling into dreams like a glass of warm milk on a winter's night. And you knew, though seasons turn and kingdoms fade, the ritual of sharing remains an ember of hope in every breath. A thin veil of early winter mist drifted past the display window, transforming the rising sun's rays into scattered crystals upon the courtyard stones. Within the cold stone chamber, logs in a crackling hearth cast a blue-green glow across the floor, echoing the pulsing breath of time. Prince Edward, now 15, lay upon his velvet-draped bed, eyes fluttering as the wind moaned through the arched glass. The chamber stood silent, save for the hearth's soft pop and measured breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. At first, the prince suffered only a mild cough-like waves brushing the castle walls. Royal physicians prescribed herbal poultices, thick blankets, and the warmth of spiced incense. Yet hour by hour, Edward grew gaunter. Soft gold locks fell in tufts, his skin paled like faded pearls, and nails grew brittle. The candles feebly flickered, unable to chase away the deepening gloom. Beyond London's moss-clad rooftops, Tudor spires reflected the sombre grey sky onto the Thames. Rumours drifted through the streets. Youngest monarch in Europe, yet perhaps the saddest. Townsfolk compared his trials to our modern scares, today's sirens in the night, then trumpets tolling the sovereign's passing. Hidden among obscure medical scrolls is a note that Edward may have been exposed to metallic mercury, used to treat certain ailments. Each salve, believed a cure, turned slowly toxic. Vapours curled around the prince like a chilly shroud, yet none realized the true poison seeping beneath his silken robes. Morning light filtered through the leaded panes, illuminating a tiny medical journal on an oaken table. Faded entries recorded. Second month, cough begins. Third month, hair thins. Fourth month, complexion wanes. Fifth month, trembling hands. No mention of poison, only drab, clinical terms. A lady in waiting flipped the brittle pages, heart sinking, pum, pum. If today a politician grumbled about heavy metal in our water supply, we'd sound the alarm. Yet Edward's 16th century only met each toxic treatment with a weary smile. Irony. We own pollution sensors and smart filters, yet still overlook subtle threats. Outside the castle, a wind-swept field of golden grasses bowed beneath cold gusts. A lone horse clopped across worn flagstones. Envoys knelt and withdrew in hushed concern, all eyes fixed on the curtained canopy, waiting for a miracle. In dreams, Edward wandered a moonlit rose garden. Petals trembled like fragile breaths. A chill wind scattered them, until only one remained an echo of hope. Awakening, the prince coughed dryly, breath shallow. On the 6th of July, history records Edward's final, faint breath before dawn. The castle fell silent. Curtains drew closed as the first pale light touched the pale features of a fallen monarch. A silver crown lay abandoned on feathered quilts, heavy with promise. He was interred at Westminster Abbey, as bells tolled mournfully through the city, our ancestors' live streams replaced by drum and horn. Official chronicles cite consumption, but lingering clues whisper of darker medicine's hand. A wry thought flickered in your mind, and yet they swear by modern detox waters. A stifled laugh drifted unheard through the frosted corridor. You felt warmth beneath your ribs. Take a deep breath, and exhale slowly. A stray leaf slid across the stone hearth, sounding its gentle rustle, swish, swish, reminding you that time flows ever onward. Each swirling leaf bears a story. Edward departed, but his warmth folded into whispered memories. Then soft footsteps echoed behind a thick tapestry, an attendant bearing a tray of warming ginger tea. She bowed and placed the steaming cup upon a side table. The aroma of ginger mingled with aged incense. Though the prince never sipped, the gesture speaks. Nature still offers its gentle embrace. Breathe in, breathe out. The kettle's faint drip, drip, drop, cool beads forming on the cup's rim. Candlelight danced across polished wood, casting honeyed hues upon amber tea. Each breath became a lullaby, guiding you into the final repose, where Edward may yet smile beneath a silvered sky, watching golden fields sway and roses bloom quietly in the dawn mist. A gentle spring breeze drifted through the aged wooden frame, lifting the thin curtain to let dawn's final rosy light drift across the polished floorboards. Pale pink beams spread softly, painting patches of light and shadow upon the carved wall, reliefs like hurried footsteps outside the Globe Theatre. Silence filled the chamber, broken only by measured breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Under the warm glow of an oil lamp, the stage floor lay muted, a tapestry of worn planks. William Shakespeare once stood here, facing the wings of the globe, watching the first applause for Love's Labours Lost. 15 years later, Francis Maries in Pallidus Tamia praised an eagerly awaited sequel. The ending shall ring with joy, he penned in humming ink. Yet the official record lists only 40 works. The sequel a lost breath in the night. Today, if you search Sequel Love's Labour's Lost. Millions of results echo back the same question. Content not found. It's ironic that our modern search engines, so powerful, still fail this age-old mystery. We can stream high-definition films, yet cannot stream a play never preserved. The only sound inside the archive was the soft rustle of turning pages and the curator's steady inhale. Who holds the key? A scrap of waste paper used in a bookbinding emerged from a London bookshop in 48, it reads, in faded script, price, 6 pence. That slip of paper remains like a fleeting invitation to a vanished treasure. The scent of old ink and leather bound the air, stirring echoes of a golden era. Outside, a double-decker bus braked to pick up passengers, its horn a muted hornpipe among cobbled lanes. A radio announcer crackled, "In England, the Tudor lost play mystery endures." He chuckled wryly. "Even Google's search algorithm draws a blank." You smiled, inhaled slowly. Breathe in, breathe out. Back in the Elizabethan era, recall the year 1623, when John Hemminge and Henry Condell compiled the first folio. Their editorial hands sifted through plays, yet did not find a line of that elusive sequel. They marked it extinct, its absence steeped in melancholy. At Cambridge, Professor Carraway stumbled upon a printed catalogue note, "Love's Labour's Lost Sequel." Discovered in a forgotten crate, that annotation winked like a margin note left behind by an anxious editor. Check next to the teacup? Yet the manuscript itself remained hidden. "We have Google Books," quipped the professor. But some works never make it into the cloud. Sunlight streamed through dusty panes, lines of brightness slashing through the shelves. Mary's mirror caught a sliver of that glow, its mercury gleaming with a child's reflection, only it offered no further image now. Silence acknowledged its secrets. Footsteps slowed, each echo a hushed lullaby. Let memory rest. The relics lay still in glass sanctuaries, yet their stories thrummed through the curator's heart. Soft mechanical whirring serenaded the room. Ceiling fans rotated. Lights dimmed. Ventilation sighed. Whoosh, whoosh, tick, tock. The rhythm carried your mind to a distant place where Tudor spirits slept in peaceful slumber. At the final cabinet, a petite wooden box, intricate with vine carvings, revealed the fragile parchment bearing the missing play's title. Sequel to Love's Labour's Lost. It smelled faintly of cinnamon wood and old promises. Reverently, she read the note, an unfulfilled vow across centuries. Closing her eyes, she inhaled deeply, drawing all those half-remembered words into her being. Exhaling slowly, she returned the parchment to its box. Shadows gathered, moonlight slanted through curtains, illuminating only faint outlines of each artifact. Then the chamber fell into peaceful hush, save for her heartbeat. Thump, thump. A final drumbeat guiding Tudor souls back to rest. And as you listen to that tender pulse, let it lull you into deep calm, carried off into a soothing sleep amid this ocean of memories. A soft spring breeze drifted through the weathered wooden window frame, lifting the thin curtains so the final rosy rays of a 15th century dawn could paint gentle streaks upon the polished floorboards. A muted pink glow spread across the carved reliefs, like hurried footsteps outside the Globe Theatre. A hush filled the chamber, broken only by measured breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Under the warm oil lamp's glow, the stage floor appeared muted, a canvas of worn planks. William Shakespeare once stood here, hailed by applause for Love's Labour's Lost. 15 years later, Francis Maries praised a sequel in Palladius Tamia. Its ending shall ring with joy, yet the official record names only 40 plays, the sequel lost in the night. If you now search Sequel Love's Labour's Lost, millions of results echo back, no content found. Ironically, modern search engines so powerful still fail this century's old mystery. We can stream high-definition films, yet cannot stream a play never recorded. In the vault's dim light, the only sounds were the soft rustle of turning pages and a steady inhale. Who holds the key? A scrap of waste paper rediscovered in a London bookshop in 48 reads, price, 6 pence. That slip remains a fleeting invitation to a lost treasure. The scent of old ink and leather binds the air, stirring echoes of a golden age. Outside, a double-decker bus idled, its horn muted in the narrow street. A radio announcer declared, "England's Tudor lost play remains unsolved." He quipped, "Even Google draws a blank." You smile, inhaling slowly. Breathe in, breathe out. Back in the Elizabethan era, recall 1623, when John Hemming and Henry Condell compiled the first folio. They sifted through plays, but found no trace of the sequel. They accepted its extinction, its absence heavy with melancholy. At Cambridge, Professor Carraway discovered a printed catalogue note, "Love's Labour's Lost Sequel." Unearthed in a forgotten crate, it winked like an editor's margin note. Check near the teacup? Yet the manuscript itself stayed hidden. "We have Google Books," the professor laughed. "But not every work makes it to the cloud." Sunlight slanted through dusty panes, lighting narrow beams among the shelves. Mary's mirror caught a bit of that glow, its mercury shining with a lost child's reflection. Yet it offered no further image. Silence held its secrets. Footsteps slowed, each echo a hush. Let memory rest. The relics lay peacefully in glass, their stories humming softly in the curator's heart. A gentle mechanical hum rose. Ceiling fans turned, lights dimmed. Ventilation whispered, "Whoosh, whoosh, tick, tock." The rhythm carried you to a place where Tudor spirits slumber quietly. Before the final cabinet, a carved wooden box opened to reveal the missing play's fragile parchment. Sequel to Love's Labour's Lost. It smelled of cinnamon wood and unfulfilled promise. Reverently, the curator read, "Love that never dies," then gently closed the box. Shadows deepened, moonlight filtered through drapes, casting only faint outlines. Silence reigned, broken only by her heartbeat. Thump! Thump! A final drum guiding Tudor souls to rest. As you listen, let that soft pulse send you into deep repose, rocked by this sea of memories. A gentle spring breeze slipped through the old wooden window frame, parting the thin curtain so the last rosy rays of a 15th century sunset could warm the polished floorboards. Those pale beams painted the carved stone walls in soft hues, like the light tread of a solitary passerby. Silence filled the chamber, broken only by measured breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Under the flicker of an oil lamp, the hearth's logs glowed blue-green, their crackles whispering the heartbeat of time. Prince Edward, now 15, lay upon his velvet-draped bed, eyes closing to echo the wind's sigh through the arched glass. His breaths came slow and even. Breathe in, breathe out. Initially, the prince suffered only a mild cough, like waves lapping the castle ramparts. Courtiers recommended herbal tinctures, heavy quilts, and the warmth of spiced incense. Yet day by day, Edward weakened. Golden locks fell in clumps. His once radiant complexion faded to pale pearl, and nails chipped like autumn leaves. The small candlelight seemed too dim to dispel the encroaching shadow. Outside London's Tudor rooftops, towers draped in moss captured the grey sky's reflection upon the Thames. Gossip filled the air. Europe's youngest monarch, yet the saddest of all. Townfolk compared his plight to modern-day emergencies, sirens wailing in the night while they had only trumpets tolling at dawn. Obscure medical manuscripts hint that Edward might have been exposed to mercury used in treatments of the age. Each salve meant to heal slowly corroded his health. Vapours clung like a chilling shroud under his royal robes, yet none perceived the insidious poison. Morning light filtered through the leaded panes, illuminating a tiny medical journal on the oak table. Faded entries recited, "Second month, cough begins. Third month, hair thins. Fourth month, complexion wanes. Fifth month, trembling hands." No mention of poison, just clinical descriptors. A lady in waiting turned the pages, her pulse catching. Pum, pum. If today we fret over lead in our water, we sound alarms. Yet Edward's 16th century case was met with gentle smiles. Irony. We possess sensors and filters, yet subtle dangers still evade us. Outside the castle, fields of golden wheat bowed beneath cold gusts. A single horse's hoof tapped a steady rhythm on flagstones. Envoys knelt softly and withdrew, their eyes fixed upon a curtained canopy awaiting miracles that never came. In his dreams, Edward wandered a moonlit rose garden. Petals trembled like soft breaths. A chilling wind scattered them until only one remained, an echo of hope. Awakening, the prince coughed dryly, breath shallow. On the 6th of July, history recorded Edward's last, faint exhalation as dawn began. Silence enveloped the castle. Curtains closed as the first pale light grazed the features of a fallen king. A silver crown lay upon feathered quilts, its promise heavy and mournful. Interred at Westminster Abbey, bell tolls rolled through the quiet city, our ancestors' live streams replaced by drum and horn. Official records attribute his passing to consumption, yet hints of darker medicine linger. A wry thought flickered, and they preached detox water as salvation. A soft laugh danced in your mind. You felt warmth behind your ribs. Take a deep breath and exhale slowly. Leaves drifted across the hearth floor, their gentle rustle, swish, swish, reminding you of time's steady flow. Each falling leaf bore an untold story. Edward departed, but his warmth endures in whispers of memory. Then soft footsteps drew near, an attendant bearing a tray of warming ginger tea. She bowed, placing the steaming cup on a side table. The ginger's spice mingled with aged incense's sweetness. Though Edward never sipped, the act spoke volumes. Nature's comfort awaits when hope flickers faint. Breathe in, breathe out. The kettle's gentle drip, drip, drop. Hazed cool tang on your lips. Candlelight shimmered honeyed across the wood, each breath a lullaby, guiding you into peaceful slumber where Edward may dream beneath a silvered sky, watching golden fields sway and roses bloom in quiet dawn mist. The last breeze of twilight drifted through the aged wooden window frame, carrying the scent of citrus blossoms and sandalwood dust. The final rosy rays of dusk spread across the dew-damp velvet carpet, painting soft butter-yellow hues upon the grey stone walls. Catherine Parr, once the last queen beside Henry VIII, stood amid the candlelit chamber, feeling warmth in her robes yet a gentle heaviness in her heart. Draped in emerald brocade with golden thread trim, she watched each flame flicker, tack, tack, merging with her calm breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Just 6 days prior, Catherine had heard newborn Mary's first cry echo through Sudeley Castle, trumpets heralding hope like dawn's own orchestra. Courtiers in silken gowns flitted across marble floors, their laughter bright as sunlight. Yet today, only night's hush and a mother's gentle heartbeat remained. Pum, pum. Physicians noted Catherine's postpartum fever, an invisible enemy of mothers past and present. They applied herbal poultices and warm compresses, but their ancient remedies held uncertain promise. In modern times, new mothers fret over sleepless nights or mild blues, yet Catherine simply whispered, "Close my eyes and await peace." Candlelight danced upon aged tapestries, gold threads shimmering like distant stars. Soft footsteps approached as an attendant placed a steaming bowl of ginger tea near Catherine's hand. The ginger's spice mingled with the lingering musk of midnight blooms. Catherine sipped and inhaled deeply. Whoosh, whoosh, feeling even the simplest kindness cradle her fading strength. 5 days later, official accounts charted Catherine's passing from puerperal fever, an age-old scourge claiming countless lives. Some rare journals lament loss rates, while more recent mothers benefit from antibacterials and sterile care. Still, regardless of era, motherhood's trials share an enduring whisper of vulnerability. A gentle wry thought surfaced. At least today's moms don't rely on medicinal mead. A small chuckle passed Catherine's lips before her final sigh, and with one last pum, her story's heartbeat stilled. Tears welled in the attendant's eyes as candlelight trembled in the silent chamber. The next day, Catherine and infant Mary, mere days old, were laid side by side beneath the chapel's vaulted stones. Moonlight filtered through stained glass, draping gentle lavender stripes upon their resting forms. Distant church bells tolled a delicate ling, lang, as if the night itself whispered farewell. Imagine our world now, sharing live-streamed funerals, and posting memorial links on every feed. Catherine and Mary knew only candles and silence. That contrast tugs at the heart. We have Wi-Fi, but are we richer in solace? As the final night fell, only the soft patter of rain outside the chapel window remained. Pitter, patter, pitter, patter. Your breath matches its gentle cadence. Breathe in, breathe out, leading you into a timeless embrace where peace endures beyond sorrow. Catherine Parr may have left this realm, yet her maternal love lives on in every stone, every flicker of candlelight. In this dream, she drifts like a spring breeze that calms the soul, inviting you to continue your journey through tranquil slumber, where even the deepest pains melt into the softest lullaby of memory. Under the pale moonlight, the riverbank lay still, willows dipping their branches into the glassy water. A spring breeze whispered through the leaves, carrying the sweet scent of damp grass and the faint trace of spent candle wax. Take a deep breath. Let that cool wind fill your lungs, then exhale softly in a gentle whoosh, whoosh, blending with the rustle of leaves outside. 4 Tudor tales have passed like gentle waves. A 15-year-old prince, a lone child lost in time, a devoted wife's silent fall, and a fragile lost play scattered through memory. Each memory drifts like a petal upon the river of time, sparkling under the last glow of a dying lamp. Imagine that peaceful river flowing past the ancient walls, carrying echoes of Edward VI, Mary Seymour, Amy Robsart, and Shakespeare's fragile manuscript. Its surface shimmers with silver glints, breaths of memories never fully penned, yet they glide on tranquilly, like nature's own lullaby. Close your eyes and listen to the crickets in the garden, their soft chirp, chirp, like a soothing melody. Feel the lingering warmth of candle wax on your fingertips, the honeyed scent bidding the night farewell. A high breeze drifts through your hair, gentle as a soothing hand, calming every worry. Despite the recorded tragedies, despite the unfulfilled finale of a play never complete, these are but quiet waves of feeling. Let their stillness become your sanctuary of peace. All the hustle, all the striving, will dissolve into the night, giving space for your soul to rest. Hear the moon's reflection tremble on the water, a scattering of silver pearls. A breeze stirs, hinting at dawn's return. But for now, there is only the night and sleep. Release your shoulders, rest your hand gently on your chest, and sense the warmth of each breath. May you have a peaceful night, where Tudor dreams cradle you through memory's quiet corridors, and come morning's light, you awaken with calm heart, ready for a new day. Sleep well,